Well, we have made it to our final episode with Cassandra O'Neal, and I hope that you have enjoyed our conversation thus far. So grab that beverage and join us on the couch.
And then he would do this is what's really funny. And even Morris talked about this when he came to Columbia. So we would rehearse a song a certain way, right? Play it that certain way. If he had a different arrangement that he wanted to do, it was like, all right, Cassie, play this. But you had me playing that before. And he would say, okay, make an edit. And I knew what that meant. I was like, oh shoot, he's getting ready to change it. And he would sometimes forget, like within days, of what arrangement we did of what song. So yeah, it was interesting.
How did you keep it all straight?
Huh?
How did you keep it all straight?
Writing it down and recording it. And there were, we would record stuff behind his back because we couldn't. He hated.
Remember all this?
He hated these. He didn't like.
Yeah,
these.
I know. Yeah.
You don't bring this around him unless he needed something. He needed something, and so. But this was, you kept this.
You kept that hidden.
Yeah, I had this tucked somewhere. I had a bunch of keyboards up there, so I would like put it in my purse or something, and put my purse on top of something, so I'd be able to record it and still hear stuff or whatever. And it was it was interesting. It was interesting. I remember
now after you had been there, so you were there from 2009 to what? To 15 or 16? 16, right. So after like that first year, right? And you're like, wow, it's been a year. Wonder how long this is going to go, right? What surprised you the most after that first year?
What surprised me the most would be, again, how his mind worked. You just never knew. You never knew what Prince you were going to get from day to day. He was a Gemini. So the personalities would change from day to day. And that was what was surprising to me. Is how we kept up. How we were able to keep up. And that was the biggest surprise. Like, we just went from so-and-so to so-and-so and so-and-so, and we're doing back-to-back shows, and, not only are we doing, you're playing on stage for 2.5 hours, and then you go, you freshen up, you change clothes, you get makeup touched up again to do an after show. Then you go to breakfast. Then you go to your room and sleep for maybe 4 hours, just to do it all over again. So that was the surprise for me, was how we were able to keep up, and how he just, and of course, his world was comfortable.
Yes.
So that, his situation and our situation were two totally different things. So yeah.
I think, was it more? I think it was Morris that talked about that once on some interview he did, and he was like, we would rehearse. We'd be in there, and then it's like, it's time to go, right? And he's like, when do we have time to go get our stuff ready? We don't have somebody getting our stuff ready and putting our clothes together. We got to do it. Our situation isn't like yours.
Not at all. Not at all. And the colors would change. First it was, for example, red, color's red. it depends. You know, we all the girls, we helped each other. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
some
Mm-hmm.
people had more other colors of stuff than others.
Right.
So we would be dipping in each other's jewelry box, and and
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, hey Lisa, can I borrow this? Can I borrow that? Can I borrow that? And then you got to get your makeup done. So you're trying to do hair and all of that. So it's just kind of like it was a rat race. But in Prince's world, it's you're gonna do my hair. Let
Right.
me do my makeup. And I'll let you know when I'm done so you can come and do my hair. So you got fiasco, like you got the library over here and the zoo over here. I
Uh-huh.
mean, it's like it was.
Oh God, that is a great analogy.
Yeah, and we all made it work, you know what I'm saying? And there were,
Mhm.
whenever we went places, they had dressmakers for us, a seamstress to help sew, because we were one thing about us that I can really say is we were put together, baby.
Yeah.
We
Oh
were put
yeah.
together. We was tacking stuff in and sticky tape and two-sided tape
Mm-hmm.
and making sure our packs didn't show and and all of that stuff and my people would help me thread my ears in making sure it
Yeah.
all that it was a well-oiled machine and we made it work and it was just it was different than a lot of the other tours that I did because your clothes was your responsibility on those other tours. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was working with Macy and working with Pink and you wore whatever you wanted to wear as long as it was in conjunction with what the image was.
Mm-hmm.
But with him, you had to be approved. So before every show we would come in and he would approve our
Mm-hmm.
makeup. He would approve, he even, would take off an earring and say, here, wear this. He would have an earring on his, either that he was wearing or that was
Mm-hmm.
on his jewelry table. And he would say, here, wear this. Let me put this on you. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That was amazing.
That would have been another
Oh, it
moment where
was
you would
another
have been on
moment.
the
It
floor.
was a moment. It was a moment. I remember I got best dressed one time.
All right,
Yeah, he was
Kathy.
like, you best dressed. I'm like,
Wow.
I mean, but we were all clean though. So it was, and that was the thing. I loved seeing the girls and, the transformations, when we would all be made up and all beautiful and pretty. And, it was a moment. It was a moment. I don't wear
So
tons of makeup because of that. Cause I
right,
just, yeah,
right.
this is what you're going to get. Yeah, a little bit of foundation, some lip gloss and a lip liner, and
Right.
that's it.
You're out the door.
Right.
Yeah. Um, so preparing for that Welcome to America tour, what was that like between you and Morris and Hernado?
Morris and I, um, Morris and I used to have tech days when it was just the two of us, and we would make sure that our sounds were doing what it was supposed to be doing because the way Prince had explained it to us was he was like, remember back in the day when you would be listening to music and you would hear things in stereo, right? You'd be sitting in front of your boombox and you'd hear this on this side and this on that side. That's
Mm-hmm.
how I want you guys to be. I want to be able to pan to the right and I hear something coming from Morris, even if y'all are stacking sounds and y'all are playing the same chords. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to hear something different. I want to be able to pan to the right and hear Morris and hear one thing, and then pan to the left and hear you and hear something else. And I'm like, okay. So that was, and Morris and I, and we talk about it to this day, is we were the complete opposite when it came to approaching playing. Morris was, I'm more of the keyboard foundational main
Mm-hmm.
piano Rhodes, that stuff, and Morris is the bell and whistle guy. So it worked because each other's strengths was not necessarily the weakness of the other person, but we got help from each other because of that. So, it was.
And then how did Renato
So
fit in?
Renato, that was an interesting thing because I kind of became the middle child because Renato was, me and Renato were kind of the same player.
Okay.
So, but because Renato was there first, I kind of, had to find my way, when he was around. So, and that was fine because, that's another musical lesson in itself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was never a bitter thing or anything like that. Renato's a fantastic keyboard player. And so, it was never any hard feelings. Now, did the fans try to play us against each other? Of course they did. Of course they did. So, but we're, and Renato's Brazilian, so you have that aspect of it as well.
That different flavor.
Yeah. Yep. So, I learned a lot from Renato as well. It was and he was, I remember him from being in the band before. So again, meeting him was like, oh my gosh, like, wow, it's a pleasure to meet you, So, there was no animosity on my part.
Right.
So, I thought it was.
You're all there to do what you do.
Yeah, and we helped each other.
I mean, he picked all of you.
And that's the key. That's the key. He picked all of us. That's the part that people don't seem to remember. Is we didn't audition. We were picked. Every last person that you ever saw on Prince's stage was picked to be there.
Yeah.
And some people, now in the picking, the audition process was when you would come to Paisley and see how you gel with everybody else. Because there was a couple of people that were picked that didn't see it all the way through.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Then it's like, how well you're going to fit in, personality, this, that. Yeah. So you're coming into a family,
right, and it wasn't, and a lot, and it wasn't a personality. Well, some people it was a personality thing. The reason why they didn't make it, but for the most part, it was a musical thing. Some people couldn't handle it. They just, it was too much.
Yeah, it ain't for everybody.
No, it ain't. And there were some people that were, playing for other people, and didn't want to let those gigs go, and that type of thing. So.
Right. And you just don't really understand what is going to be expected of you in that situation.
Right.
Because you ain't never experienced anything like that before.
No.
You can't even compare it to anything.
Sure can't. You preaching. Because that's the biggest thing that people didn't quite get. I'm like, this is not your average normal tour. Where the Prince had his hand in everything. Everything, as opposed to the tour manager making those decisions. Right. So it could be tumultuous at times. But you work through it. We got each other through. Yeah.
Because you're going to be out for a while, so you make it.
Yeah,
work.
we had our songs. The girls, here comes the bus. Here comes the bus. Here comes the bus. Here comes the bus. There goes the bus. There goes the bus. There goes the bus. Where is the bus? Where is the bus? Where is the bus? There is no bus. There is no, so it was. Oh God.
Oh my God.
And we'd be singing these songs in harmony.
Oh my God.
Killing chilling. Me, Liv, Shelby, Lisa, Ida.
Oh my God.
What was the one? What was the other one? Uh, oh, the wine. Shelby's got the wine to unwind. Shelby's got the wine to unwind. Or whoever had the wine bottle. Ida's got the wine to unwind.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
That's hysterical.
That was the
man.
fun part. That was the fun part. We would make up songs. And then I remember Shelby, we were doing Love Bazaar, and she was crowd surfing. They like picked her up, so we were singing "The Moon Up Above." It was like, where'd Shelby go? Yeah, it was. Those were the fun moments. Those were the fun
priceless.
And
priceless.
Yeah. I will never forget these songs. They will always be a part of who I am and the moments. And we heaven only knows. I think we came up with that. Shelby wrote that. We were playing something on stage, and she just kind of came up with this thing, this funk thing that we were, and it happened a lot. That's when you knew you had the right people in your band, is when you could create with those people, and we were doing sessions and, singing in the studio together and whatnot. It was fun. It was fun. Everybody had their own creative thing going on, and we were able to come together and make it work and have fun doing it. And even though we were tired at times, it was a good tired.
It was a good tired.
It was a good tired. Yeah. And just thinking about, John, that man could play.
He was a beast.
He could play.
He was a beast.
Could play. I remember me and him, we would go back and forth about the America solo, and nobody else. We would sing it together from the video. And John knew music. John knew a bunch of songs. He was the perfect person to play in Prince's band. And I was so glad that when I got in the band, that I had that opportunity. Everyone that I was able to play with, it was a privilege and an honor to play with all of them, from Cora to Josh to John to Sheila to anybody else that played. Maceo. I still talk about that, like that particular tour that Maceo did with us. I had the pleasure of sitting next to him on every flight.
Oh, wow.
And I asked him one time, I said, Uncle Maceo, I said, when do you stop doing this? Because he's up there in age. He's seen everything, from James Brown to Prince to, and having your own thing. And, when do you stop? And he looked at me. This was like 6:00 in the morning on a cold freaking flight, And so he looks at me and he goes, because basically nobody had ever asked him that before. And he goes, He looks up at the sky and he goes, Cass, I stop when my fingers don't move as fast. I stop when I can't hear the changes fast enough. I stop when my embouchure is not good. I stop when it doesn't feel good anymore. And you know what he was basically saying? I'm going to stop when they put me in the ground. That's when you stop. And because let me tell you something, that man is still sharp.
Mm-hmm.
musically.
Mm-hmm.
That man is still sharp, just sharp all over. Just every night, Prince would call him up and he would take his finger and he would put his finger on the key that we were in. And he would never be wrong. And he would basically asking me, like, is that right? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
and would kill
And kill.
every
They don't make them like that.
every night. And I got to be in the company of somebody that great. Little old me.
Amazing career.
There's nothing special about, I mean, outside of my gifting, but there is nothing special about me, in my opinion, that would award me such an honor other than being at the right place.
But you were always ready.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
You were always ready.
Mhm.
And it was always, I think, your honest approach to the music, your honest approach to serve the music. And you learned that early when you were a child.
Right. But I also learned it from other people, like when I met Chucky Booker. Chucky Booker was one of those, he was on the level of Robert Brookins for me. You know, people that I listened to who became a part of my musical fabric. And Chucky taught me a lot. Wow. I learned so much from him. And just watching him and, you know, when he was with Janet, when he was with Michael, when he was with Tina, you know, all of those things. And yeah. And so I was able to, like I said, there were people, Paul Jackson Jr. was another one. Paul and I played at the same church. And I've known about Paul's career since before I met Paul. So when I met Paul, I was like, I came to play Paul Jackson Jr. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, yeah, that's my song. And I was like, is that you playing that? He's like, no, that's George Duke playing that. He's like, I just kind of mimicked it in the video. But yeah.
Wow.
And Paul was, you know, and still is. You know, I still, you know, everybody's busy these days. Everybody's doing their thing. But, you know, every now and again, you know, I'll call him. They'll call me, you know, and check on each other. And you know, because we all realize that, you know, we're getting older. And you know, especially, you know, I just turned 50 this year. And I would.
Looking good, girl.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You know what
it looks good
well,
on
you know
you.
what they say. Black don't crack, but I got a little gray that I touch up.
that's some light blonde in that hair, girl.
we got a little grayage going on, but don't nobody know about that. Anyway, and I just, you know, with the way Prince went, that was hard. It just came out of
hard is I don't even know if hard is the right word, but I think hard is the only word
that you can really
that you can think of.
Yeah, because it was he died on was that a Thursday? That was a Thursday.
I think it was a Thursday.
It was a Thursday, and so that Tuesday, he crossed my mind, and I forget where I was. I think I was coming from a class or going to a class or something. And I just, you know, something just said, stop and pray for him. And I just whispered a word, you know, just a word. And I said, Lord, whatever he's doing, protect him, keep him, you know, just hold him in your arms, Lord, just whatever it is, because I had, you know, I knew about the situation on the plane and the, you know, and then that Saturday he was riding his bike around Paisley. Anytime he's riding his bike, I'm thinking he's good, you know? And so, but then, you know, like I said, when that thought just came over me, I was like, something's not right. Something's not right. And I was
but you did what you were supposed to do in that moment.
Exactly. I was in my junior year of college. So you asked me about college earlier. I went in and out of college. Like when I first moved to LA, I did start going to school. I went to Los Angeles City College and a school called Trebas School of Recording Arts. And I finished Trebas, but I did not finish at LACC. Because I kept getting opportunities to go out on the road, and it was school will always be there. But then when I got Prince and I realized that we didn't have an itinerary and I needed something to keep me busy while I'm waiting for him to call, I said, let me, and I got tired of LA. I needed to leave LA. I just couldn't do it anymore. I was there for 21 years. I was like, I want to move back to New York. And I had just went to New York for vacation. I had the most wonderful time. And I was like, New York is the place where you can go by yourself and you can have a ball by yourself. Yeah. And so I told my good friend and I said, I wanna move back. And he was like, for real? You want to move back to New York? I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, well, if you do this, don't move to Manhattan. Don't move to Manhattan. Don't move to the Bronx. Don't move to Queens. Don't move to Brooklyn. Move to New Rochelle, like over in Westchester, because that'll put you close, but it's a nice area. So we came here and did the United Center and did a whole bunch of other stuff. We did South by Southwest. We did a whole bunch of other shows. That was when he was doing a lot of stuff for Van Jones. That stuff. Yeah. Yeah, the shows that were the benefit shows and stuff like that. Yeah. Charities. Charity show. That's what I was trying to get. Yeah. So he was doing a lot of that. And we were doing that's the stuff that we were doing in America. Yeah. So outside of the Welcome to America tour, and we would do spot dates, and we were doing stuff like at City Winery, and and I was living in New York, so I got to go to work and go home. Right. We were doing a show and the cops got called because we were making too much noise. And Prince was like, they want, how are you guys going to prevent us from playing? They want us to play. Because they were like, play. And the cops were like, go home. Yeah. And I got home from that show at like 6:00 in the morning, and I took the first Metro North home and got home at like 7. I'm like, who does that? Who plays a show with Prince and goes home?
Nobody. Nobody does.
No, but I did.
Your role, and I guess what you feel your responsibility is in preserving his legacy. What do you think that is? And I guess initially, maybe, that first year, that second year after it happened, what did you think it would be like as far as what you felt you needed to do to preserve his legacy?
That was when the tension came.
How you feel now as the years are, getting, there's more time that has passed.
I feel the same way now that I did then, which is the music. The music. Showing these young people how to have longevity in this business. How being true to the music is what's going to carry you, even when the trends come and go. I am not a part of a crew. You have different cliques around different, I lived in LA, New York, and here. 3 major cities.
You've seen it all.
3 major cities. I have never been a part of a crew outside of the people that I was playing with. Now, you have people here that will, the cliques or whatever that put each other on locally
Mm-hmm.
because they've been around each other for so long. You know, this is my boy, this is my guy, this is my girl,
Yeah.
this is my whatever, whatever, whatever. And they keep each other working. I don't have that, but I keep working.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Because I'm true to the music. I do what I have to do to put myself in a place to meet the people that I need to meet. Once I do that, the music is what does the rest of it.
Speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my ethic and my integrity and my obedience and diligence to the music is what has kept me going. I work, and I work a lot, even outside of Columbia. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I have to turn down a lot of things because at this age, I can be picky.
Yeah.
I can be picky and say no.
Yeah.
No, I can't
Yeah.
do this. No, I can't. No, it's not. It's
Mm-hmm.
either, I don't have time to do it, or it's just not the right situation for me, or whatever. And you can make those type of allowances when you are true to the music, when you are put in a position to give the music what it needs.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's, people are getting creative. Don't get it twisted. But, and creating is a part of it. However, play the music for the music first and let that inspire you.
Yeah.
Don't go
Yeah.
into it like, oh my God, this is boring, so I'm going to just change it. No. And then also being nice. Nobody's going to call
Yeah.
you back if you're an a-hole.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
run my classes just like that. We are respectful towards each other. You will come on time. You will learn the music.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, your grade will show it. Straight up. I run it like a band. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the other thing is you got, especially like my R&B ensemble, we call that a showcase level ensemble. That's the highest level. These are some singing and playing young people. They
Mm-hmm.
have their choice of, people are, they're being grabbed at to do other things. You're going to have to make that decision to either come to my class or go to that gig. And I know what
Right.
that decision making is like.
Right. Right.
Now, am I asking you to come? First of all, you're an adult. You know what I'm saying? I can't force you to come to my class. But just know that whatever decisions you make, you have to deal
Mm-hmm.
with the as we yeah, you have to what we used to say, you have to suffer the consequences. You know what I'm saying? You have to suffer the consequences, to your action.
Right.
So if you decide to not come to my class, that is an absence from my class. There is no such thing as an excused absence. You're either
Right.
here or you're not.
Or you're not.
And you're allowed 2 absences before, it gets a little crazy. And here's the thing. If you're, and I'm not one of those unreasonable people. If you're sick and I know that you're sick, like when the whole COVID thing came around, that was, I caught COVID twice.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I caught COVID September of 21 and April of 22.
Oh my.
Yep. And
Wow.
had to redo stuff, had to cancel stuff, had to, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about it. Life happens. I try to prepare them for real life. I am not a robot, and they are not either. So
Right.
so there are situations that come up. So that's my thing is showing young people,
Mm-hmm.
giving them the jewels and the tools and some of the things that got me through, that he taught me, that Mary J has taught me, that Macy taught me, that Pink taught me. And all these, anybody, Babyface, when I was working with him, that I've learned from whoever, you here you go. I give them to you. I give them to you because I don't have any children. So,
Yeah, these are
Yeah,
my
these are my
pearls.
pearls, and I gracefully give them to you. Do with them
Mhm.
as you will. You know, it may not seem useful now, but it will. It will be.
It will
It will
show
show up.
up. It will show up.
It will
Yep,
show up.
exactly. That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me on the couch.
Yes.
It has been quite
Thank
lovely.
you.
I have enjoyed speaking to
You
you
too.
today, and thank you for just sharing what you have with me and with the listeners. So I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you, thank you. And there's so much more to be touched on, but you asked some really good questions, and as a fan, and I'll say fam, as fam, it is always an honor and a privilege, as I said, to work, as I said about the band members, but it's also an honor to meet fans and to meet the people that kept us going and that
Mhm.
kept the vibe going and the energy. You guys are the energy makers. We can't play on stage by ourselves with, without the energy of you all. And
Right.
it's always fun to meet you all. I still I get stopped every now and again, on the street sometimes, and
Uh
people
huh.
will remember me. And or if I'm at a concert or if I'm at a conference or something, and people will stop and want to get a picture, and blah blah blah. It's still good to know that.
You are a hero.
Yeah, yeah, and you guys care about us. And that was, when he passed, fans would tag us and stuff. And I'm in a couple of Prince rooms, and
Hmm.
they would do stuff, and I would comment, and they would like my comments and stuff. And that's we like to keep
Yeah.
that connection.
Keep that
Keep that
going.
connection.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he left us
Yeah,
with. He left us each
yeah,
other.
exactly. That's a wonderful way to put it.
Thank you for hanging with us on this three-part conversation with Cassandra O'Neal. She is another wonderful example of the amazing and talented women that Prince worked with during his career. I hope that you will join us again for another episode of On the Couch with RDJ. Please click, subscribe, share, and leave a review.